What's going on, YouTube? My name is Zach with Android Digest, and today I'm very excited to be reviewing the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra. Now this tablet, it's a pretty large tablet, and the price is actually pretty up there as well. It's over $1,000 for the base model. That's $1,099. And the keyboard cover, if you buy the keyboard cover, it's $350 for that. Now Samsung has a lot of great trade-in deals they offer. They often offer a lot of incentives when you pick up their devices. But regardless, it's a very polarizing thing when you think about an Android tablet costing that much. So there's a lot of debate about this tablet. But realistically, we haven't seen a lot of tablets like this. 14.6 inches, 120 hertz, OLED, really loud speakers. There's a lot of things that this tablet offers that a lot of other tablets don't. But is this tablet worth it, and how does it compare with the iPad Pro? Well, I'm hoping to share some thoughts with you about it, and I'm going to do a lot of comparisons to other tablets in the tablet landscape so you could see if this tablet is really worth buying. So with all that being said, let's get straight into it. So the Tab S8 Ultra, I know it costs a lot, I know it's really polarizing, and I know there's a ton of people that are actually trying an Android tablet for the first time in 10 years. And a lot of people have that pride in Apple or an iPad, so they buy this device just so they could try it out and then laugh at Samsung for how bad they are. But this tablet has a ton of capabilities a lot of people they're just not talking about. And one of the first ways that this tablet differentiates itself is in the design. So I know that this design, it is very similar to the Tab S7 and the Tab S7 Plus. The S Pen does charge in the same place right here on the back. Of course, you have aluminum here on the back, and it's really easy to get fingerprints here, honestly. But one way that this design is very, very different is, of course, the screen size. A lot of people love to compare this to the iPad Pro, but guess what? The iPad Pro is 12.9 inches. And if you want to compare the iPad Pro to something, you should compare it to the Tab S8 Plus, which is 12.4 inches, and that's a little bit more of a fair comparison. But this is a 14.6 inch screen, and it's amazing when you look at the weight that this is like 1.6 pounds. It's very, very lightweight. Now with that being said, if you throw the keyboard cover on it, or if you're holding it with one hand for a long period of time, you're trying to hold something that is so wide that it is very difficult to hold with one hand for a long time. And even if you're gaming on this, the bezels are so small, it is difficult to hold it by the bezels. But in a lot of ways, we just have to admit that a 14.6 inch OLED 120 hertz tablet with the top of the line processor that's out there, at least on Android, that's really, really impressive and just not something that we've seen. Now on the front of the screen, you are going to have that notch. I know that's part of the design that some people don't like. Samsung is really, really dumb, honestly, for making fun of Apple for all those years. They made fun of Apple for not including chargers in the box, and then Samsung stopped including chargers in the box. And by the way, this is a tablet that does not have a charger in the box. Then Samsung made fun of Apple for the dumb notch, and of course they made all those commercials making fun of them. Well, here we go. Samsung added a notch to their tablet. But I will say this notch at least has a purpose, and it's a very small notch. It's not something I notice. So even though we laugh at the notch and we don't like it, it's honestly not that bad in day-to-day use. But inside that notch, you do have two different cameras, and they actually have this auto framing feature where if you're moving around with the camera, it will actually follow you around. So if someone else enters the frame of your picture, it can zoom out to the appropriate length, or it can zoom in if you're the only person in the picture. So it's really great for video conferencing. I actually did try it on Google Duo, and it actually did work very well. I also tried it with Zoom, so it doesn't just work with one app, it looks like it works with a lot of apps. And even though some people said it didn't work very well in their testing, it worked pretty good for me. Anyway, if we go back to the design, one thing you are going to notice, there is no headphone jack. I know a lot of people are mad about that. But you do have an SD card slot, so I'm so happy, especially in a tablet like this, where a lot of people are going to try to get a lot of work done. That's another reason to consider this, because if you're out there and you go to buy an iPad Pro, you're locked into whatever storage you buy. This tablet also has two speakers on each side, and that's really, really great. They're very, very loud speakers. And another thing that this tablet has, it has a USB-C port, which is of course great because a lot of laptops have that port. And of course our smartphones have that port. But one of the most underrated features of this tablet is that you can actually connect it to a monitor. So if you connect an iPad to a monitor, for example, you don't get the same support. So this tablet, it works with all types of monitors. It'll be full screen. So unlike the iPad, because the iPad, of course, it will scrunch stuff up. It won't really look quite right on a monitor. This does have full monitor support. And this device also comes with an optical fingerprint sensor, and you can find that right in the screen, and it does work very well from my testing. It's actually pretty darn accurate. And if we take a closer look at this display, you're gonna see it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a 2960 by 1848 resolution. The screen, of course, is 14.6 inches, but the star of the show is actually OLED. Now, there's a lot of talk about mini LED and how good it is out there, but realistically, OLED is the way to go, and this screen has an absolutely gorgeous OLED display. Now, it's not as bright as an iPad, and it's not even as bright as the Tab S8 or even the Tab S7, but this tablet does get bright enough for most conditions. It is over 400 nits of brightness, which is pretty good for a screen that's this size. In OLED, it's a little bit harder, I would say, to make it quite as bright. There might be some other things with screen burn-in or other things that they're trying to avoid, but honestly, I throw so much of that out the window when I just look at how good this display is, how good the colors are, how everything looks. Now, yes, the screen is a little bit glossy, so it is a little bit reflective, but the colors are so good, they're so accurate and vibrant, everything looks so good. So overall, the display is absolutely great. And when you go to the performance, it's very, very good as well. It's got the newest Android processor, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor. It starts out with 8 gigabytes of RAM in the base model, but you could go all the way up to 16 gigabytes depending on which model you buy. And of course, you start out at 128 gigs of storage in the base model, and it goes up from there. But everything does perform like a dream. I know Samsung has been known to throttle some things, at least lately. Of course, they don't want their devices to overheat, and they do not deserve a pass for that. There is a whole controversy about that and Samsung's benchmark scores. That's something I do want to mention, but realistically, that doesn't really affect your average person because this device can play almost every game at the highest settings. This device is going to fly through almost any task you throw at it. If you have 8 gigabytes of RAM, even if you have that base model, you're still going to be able to do almost anything on the Android side. This device is buttery smooth. It works absolutely great. And that 120 Hz refresh rate that this display comes with, of course it does come in handy when you're scrolling around and when you're using this for various tasks. This device is fast, and that's the bottom line. Now, if you are wondering how the keyboard cover is for this device, I actually did do a separate review on that, so you could check that out anytime. But the keyboard cover, I really do think it's very good overall. Now, one reason you might want to use that keyboard cover is actually Samsung DeX. Samsung DeX is a great thing you get on this tablet that you're not going to get on an iPad. You could actually use the keyboard cover to open up Samsung DeX. So Samsung DeX will allow you to open up a bunch of small windows across your screen, and in a lot of ways it's going to give you that laptop environment to use this tablet in. This tablet also does other things that you're not going to find in an iPad, and I'm mentioning that throughout this review for a reason, because there's a stigma out there with Galaxy tablets that they're not as good as iPads. And if you look at this again, you can have 3 windows open at the same time. You can multitask whether it's horizontally or vertically. And when you have a 14.6 inch screen, you could actually have something take up 3/4 of your screen on the left side, and you would still have plenty of room to view something on the right side. So this screen size is great for getting productive work done. This also comes with Android 12 and 4 years of software updates, and that's not something we've seen from any Android tablet yet. So there's a lot to love about this tablet, and even the cameras are improved on this tablet. You could record 4K video from either the front-facing camera or the rear-facing camera. And again, that auto-framing feature, it works great in video calls. I think it works a lot better than people are giving it credit for. So there's a lot I really love about this tablet. The speakers are great, the cameras are great, the display is great, and I would prefer OLED over mini LED every day. There's also a lot of great software features, of course, like Samsung DeX, and if you go to the advanced features menu that you'll find in the settings, you'll see there's a lot of things that make using this tablet even better. And I also want to mention the battery life in this tablet, because this tablet has a 11,200 milliamp battery, and that is absolutely huge for an Android tablet. But it is powering a large screen, but this device will still give you plenty of battery to get through your workday. Now, if you turn up the brightness all the way, of course, course, if you're doing a lot of heavy multitasking, or maybe you're doing a lot of video calls, of course your battery life may run down, especially if you're doing a lot of gaming. But if you're just doing stuff day to day, I think this battery will last you plenty of time, and overall the battery life is pretty great. And if you're an artist, I didn't even mention the S Pen because the latency has been improved on the S Pen over last year's models. There's almost no latency on the S Pen. The S Pen works absolutely great. I'm just not an artist, so I don't talk a lot about it. But I know a lot of artists out there. I was talking to my wife who loves to draw, and she said, absolutely, I would want the bigger tablet so I could draw and have a bigger canvas. So is this tablet the best Android tablet out there? I would say absolutely. But we have to factor in a lot of things, because even if it's the best Android tablet, should you buy it? And a lot of you should not buy this. Now that might come as a shock to you because I just talked this tablet up, and absolutely this tablet is great, but it also costs over $1,000, $1,100 for the base model, and $350 for the keyboard cover. So if you're out there and you're watching this, maybe you're gonna get a deal on the keyboard cover, or maybe you're gonna get a deal on this tablet. I know Samsung offers a lot of deals and a lot of great trade-in deals. Let me tell you, this tablet is a fantastic tablet, and a lot of you should still consider buying it, and some of you should avoid it. If you want a tablet with a huge screen, if you want a bigger canvas, this device is certainly for you. If you're someone who wants to use all of these video call features, this device is definitely for you. If you want a bigger tablet for various reasons, if you don't care that it's 14 inches, you want the biggest Android tablet available, and you want the best Android tablet available, this tablet is for you. It's tremendous. But often the people on my channel, a lot of them are looking for a good value. They're not just looking for the best of the best. And if you want a good value, I think you could get 90% of the features of this tablet in a much cheaper version of it. The Galaxy Tab S8 Plus, for example, it is 12.4 inches. It still has OLED. It still has a lot of things that this tablet has. It still has the same processor that this tablet has. It still has the same gorgeous display. And it's a lot more portable. It's easier to bring with you on the go, but it's still large enough that the keyboard cover is more than spacious enough. And one other thing, the Tab S8 Plus does not have a backlit keyboard option. You just don't get the extra camera to have that cool auto framing feature. And yeah, it's not a 14.6 inch tablet. So if you still want OLED, you want all those things, but you want a better value, the Tab S8 Plus is still large enough for most people, but you could still bring it with you on the go. You're still going to get that lower S Pen latency. You're still going to get a lot of those features, but you will get a great value in a tablet. But the Tab S8, that's a whole different device, of course, for a whole different demographic. That device is a great value in itself because it is $699 for that base model. It has the same processor. In my opinion, the screen looks very, very gorgeous. It's not OLED, but it looks very, very close. It still has 120 Hertz. It has the same RAM in the base model. It has the same storage in the base model. So there's a ton of things to like. Now, no, the Tab S8, it does not have the lower S Pen latency, but I don't even notice the difference. But the Tab S8, it does have a crammed keyboard. So again, if you want something that's very light, very portable, but with the same power, if you're willing to compromise that OLED display, the Tab S8 is the way to go. And if you don't want to compromise the OLED display, and you don't want to compromise by having a crammed keyboard, you could still get OLED, you could still get a spacious keyboard, and you could still get a gorgeous device with a lot of power in the Tab S8 Plus. But the Tab S8 Ultra, it is a device that is really unique in its own right. It is larger than the other tablets. It has more features than all of the other tablets out there. I'm sorry, but it is much better at multitasking than an iPad. Yes, I get it. Not all the apps are just as optimized on Android tablets. So the Tab S8 Ultra, it's not going to have quite the same app optimization compared to an iPad. But it's going to have so many more features when you consider the multitasking, when you consider Samsung DeX, when you consider that the S Pen comes in the box, and when you consider that there's no 14.6 inch option, there's no large iPad like that. So in the end, when I factor in all of those things, I absolutely have to say that this Tab S8 Ultra is definitely worth buying, but only if you're a part of the target audience. A lot of you want a lighter and a more portable tablet, so of course the Tab S8 and the S8 Plus are great for that, but if you want a large screen, a large canvas, with a lot of power, at least the best power Android has to offer, this is a great tablet with a lot of features, and I would highly recommend it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Please give me me a like on this video and give me a sub. And another way you could help to support my channel is using the links in the description. I also have other videos you could watch. I did review the Galaxy Tab S8 and the S8 Plus. I have a lot of first impressions videos. I reviewed even the keyboard covers for those devices. So feel free to check out any of those videos as well. And honestly, I just hope you have a great week because times have been crazy. I know things have been hard for a lot of people. So I hope you have an absolutely great week, and feel free to leave comments if you need absolutely anything.